I love that idea. I want a magic cape that creates real change through the power of imagination. It occurs to me now that that might be why some preachers wear robes whenever they get up here. Of course, this is the internet, and I could not verify that this study even existed. Take that video with a grain of salt. But I'm very much on board with the conclusion. They gained new resources by way of a new identity. They saw themselves differently, so their behavior changed. I would say that's pretty core to my experience of humanity. We become what we believe ourselves to be. That is at the heart of what we're talking about today, the rituals of baptism and communion. A ritual is any practice or act that connects us with the meaning and purpose of life. Most often, rituals are repeated patterns, but they can be one-time things as well. And rituals are often formal, shared behaviors like we do in church, but they can also be informal and individual too. I enjoy hiking, and when I hike somewhere new and exciting, I like to find a place along the way to build an inukshuk, stacking stones on top of each other to look like a little person marking the path. It's a bit cliche, perhaps, but it helps me to connect to a place, to mark it as special, to remember that I am a part of this trail. I'm part of a long line of others that have come before and others that will come after. It's a way marker, literally and figuratively. No doubt you have your own personal rituals and symbols, large and small. And in church, we have many, many rituals as well. Lighting the peace candle, having the coffee time after church, singing the doxology as our prayer time at potlucks. Hold up. Pay attention to this. Our rituals invite us. This place matters. This thing matters. What we're doing matters, and I know this. I belong here. I am part of this sacred community. This faith lives in me as I act it out. Our rituals invite us to see ourselves in a particular way, to see ourselves in a way that shapes our behavior. New resources by way of a new identity. In the Anabaptist faith tradition, we only hold two rituals as essential, baptism and communion. As with most rituals, baptism and communion have both a shared meaning and a personal meaning, and today we will reflect on both. Next week, we'll have the chance to actually practice baptism and communion. Today, we're not doing this. We're simply imagining and wondering and talking and thinking about them. One of the significant distinctives about Anabaptist faith is that we understand these rituals to be symbolic rather than sacramental. Symbols are pretty common in our world. A symbol is a representation. It's something that stands for something else. It isn't the thing itself, but it points to the thing. A sacrament, on the other hand, is part of the thing itself in actuality and not just imagination. Allow me to oversimplify. Think about the capes and the experiment with the kids. The outcome of the experiment was that the kids who wore the capes stayed with their task for 50% longer than the kids without capes. That is a significant change. What was the role of the capes in making that happen? Did they create the change? Yes and no and yes. A symbolic view of the capes might say that no, the capes they're just capes. The change happened elsewhere. The change happened somewhere inside the kids, in their psychology, in their brain chemistry, in their perception, their connection to the world, in that mystical space of imagination. The important thing was that for a moment, they felt like superheroes. They believed they were superheroes, and that made all the difference. The capes themselves were incidental. They pointed to that transformation somewhere beyond, that more mystical change. A sacramental view might say, yeah, but the capes were the essential element in that process. The capes created the change. Put the cape on the kid believes. The capes made it real. It wouldn't have happened without them. To which the symbolist might reply, but they are not magic capes. It could have been anything. You give kids glasses and tell them it makes them smarter, play a superhero theme song, shout encouragement to them. The capes are part of the process, but they're just part. They're not the thing itself. It's an abstract change that actually matters. The sacramentalist would argue back, but the capes are part of the process. It could be anything, But it wasn't. It isn't. The capes are what we have. God has given us capes, not glasses. So clearly the capes are required, and they are necessary. No, they're not. Yes, they are. Back and forth. They try to kill each other for 100 years and then go their separate way. Church history. The symbol points to the transformation that is already happening elsewhere, independently of that symbolic action. And a sacrament, it says that the sacrament is the means by which the transformation takes place. So Christians are usually on one side or the other. Some try to be in the middle. And we argue about the process. I think that we all agree that the transformation itself is the most important thing. And we would all agree that the rituals are powerful and essential in bringing that about. So perhaps it's not that important. Perhaps we can stop arguing and appreciate the transformation however it happens. To which a sacramentalist would say, well, yeah, but that's only going to work if you put on this cape. Anyway, I think you get it. Baptism and communion matter to Mennonites, but we are symbolists. We don't have sacraments. The transformation, that new identity, that is the thing that matters. That's the piece that's essential. And we value our rituals because they are the vehicles that help us to get there. These are the waymarkers on the journey of faith. So this morning, I invite you to put on your magic capes or your thinking caps or whatever, and we will consider the meaning that our rituals invite us to participate in.